Hello, everybody. Um, Another session here. Talking about finances. Talking about finances and tools and ideas, and a little bit more dive deep about finances. Okay. Very early on my age, I didn't respect money. I didn't value the money, probably like all of us. Down the road, I begin to look uh, what someone has about value of money, and I had to do evaluations about money. Uh, by some reason, I end up into a financial services industry, and there I learned secrets or tools, how to build a wealth for yourself. Plus, that kind of like combined together with the money I was making. All right. And I had some people who connected me. It's like, Dio, I have issues about money. Dio, I can't support myself. Uh, Dio, what is that all about? Why always happens like this? Okay, here it is that your dealings with money comes from your ability of understanding value of the money and what it's behind the value of the money. And I want to give you this kind of like a thing that what happens to you when you kind of like lose the money and where you learn the proper way of the money. All right, guys. Hopefully, you guys can have some fun and have some situations. All right. So the beginning of the value of money, you learn down the road, and in earlier days, that's when your parents give you money to go make some buy yourself something. Money, for example, when you take the kids for haircut, you give them a buck or two or whatever your currency is, okay, to give and leave a tip to the person who does the haircut. And you teach them how to be appreciative, okay, for the service. All right. Um, if you weren't on that position, if you weren't learned the things about money early stage in life, then throughout your life experiences, you will have issues with money. You will, because you don't have the base understandings about money. But why it's money? Crystalline. Hi, Crystalline. Glad you're here. Josh, this is a relevant one. Yes. Oh, wow, Diego. You and Crystalline are probably watching it together now. That's good. I like when you two are here. Thanks for joining in. Thanks, Josh. So here it comes to this part of maybe when as a child you didn't have enough money. Maybe he wasn't giving you enough money. Maybe there was giving you only an allowance for just a little bit, and there was not things enough for you. I mean, back in my childhood, I began to smoke at an early age. I think that was 11, 12, somewhere out there. So for me, was I had to, get some jars out of a milk that was returnable, or uh, glass bottles that was returnable for recycle, so I can get money for cigarettes. That's how it was. Okay. I mean, it is what it is. Admitting sin is not a sin, right? Uh, yeah, I know, Diego. I know your relationship, friendship. Kaya, let's say friendship with Crystalline. I know you guys. Life worker Terrell. Hi, Shadow. Thank you for being here. So, you don't understand though very early in the age what it costs to make money. The reason you don't understand this is probably wasn't explained to you, and when you grow up over the time, you will understand that this value of money is actually something very important. Down the road, when I begin to be age of 15, I begin to living for the first time with my mother, and things didn't turn out okay. I wasn't seeing the things as I was having a perception, or let's say download from the universe as a young age what the family should be. Back then, when I was 15, I went to live with my parents, with my father, which is my parents were divorced, and there was issues again. So I decided to go ahead and start a job before the age of 16, which was kind of hard to get a job at 16. You need some special things, special documents, social security involved, and social administrations, and so on. And anyway, but with help with relatives on my father's side, I end up having a job, and I begin to making money. Okay, to support myself. I was supporting myself at the age of, I was not even 16. Okay, that's how I learned. But I learned easily. uh, Lisa, hi Lisa. Helena Ball. Hi Helen. Thank you all for joining in. For so at age of 16, I learned that the value of the money is your time and your effort you to perform and work. And then that learning of value of the money helped me to understand the things the way they were. But later on, I end up being in selling music. And by selling music, oh yeah, thank you. Thank you for the supporting. Thank you for the super chat. Thank you so much for giving in for this topic. I have a short relationship cash, but very intentional to overcome it. Handing over your every, hanging on to every word you. Thanks, Alia. Every one of you guys kind of like supporting me and help me with through this. I want to say thank you, and I want to give you heads back up to you guys so we can better create a happy life. Okay, money is not everything. They're important, but money is not everything, because through money you can ruin relationships, you can ruin partnerships, but also you dive deep into a hole that you can't get out because of not understanding and not appreciate the value of money. Okay. So later on, to tell you this story, Maria, hi, good morning. To tell you the story that I begin to sell music, and through the selling music, if the average person was making 100 and let's say $200 a month back then, I was making this money for less than a week. Okay, I was good at it, but I did not appreciate the value of the money. I spent it. I was young, like everyone else, right? So down the road, I went to the army, came back out of the army. Josh, thank you, Josh. I appreciate it, Josh. And find me on the Facebook right after that, Josh. I promise to talk to you. Okay, and Alaya, we have a talk about tomorrow, and I appreciate it. Um, value for a coffee and a deck of CG. Thanks, thanks, Josh. Um, So down the road, I came back out of the army. The economy was bad, was ugly bad. I went up again to be a salesman and to see the things the way they were. They weren't right. Then I began to be in the sales again. Then I end up in a place that a point of life that if you don't appreciate the money doesn't appreciate you. And I end up working basically on living. I was helping to take care of a cafeteria, and I was living there uh, on it in there, and I was able to just doing this. That was it. But down the road, I began to be a salesman again as a books, and then I left Bulgaria, moved to Chicago. When I moved to Chicago, I knew three words of English pretty much. Begin to be working as a uh, uh, I am a twin. Hi, thank you for being here. I begin to work as a Lisa. Thank you, Lisa. Appreciate it. Catch me on the Facebook, okay? I like to give you this back 101 because 101 is kind of like a very productive, and I appreciate everything. And I began to work in the clinic service, and back then the salary was 5.25 an hour, and the rent was about give it a take like $300 in Chicago. And I was, married. All of a sudden, we find out that Dio, how did you choose Illinois' job? It was Universal Orchestrate. There was a friends of my ex that helped us out, and that's how we end up there. Somebody to help us at the beginning. That's how we end up then. So telling you this story is kind of like you can get into my story. Maybe something is going to relate to you. Down the road, we begin both of us to make money, but we found out in the second month. Basically, I was the first one who found out before even my ex has been like this that we are pregnant. We are going to have a kid. So basically, you're in the country, you don't know things, you don't understand where you are, and guess what? You're expecting a child. Welcome. Down the road, my ex moved to another city to work there, which just was, I mean, compared to Chicago, moved to Aurora, and there she was making like, let's say $7 or $8 an hour. And all of a sudden, we decided to move there. So we moved there, we got an apartment, but there was no job for me. I couldn't find the darn job in there. Man, that was 3 months that my ex run me to the ground, that I cannot find a job. And this shows up the strength of relationships. Okay. I mean, I went through hell about this, but eventually I found a job at a casino boat as a mechanic, but they didn't hire me as a mechanic. They hired me as a deckhand. And I was making $7, something like that. And then I moved as a mechanic 3 months later when I learned the proper communications according to the USA Coast Guard, because that's a requirement when you work on a boat to know things. And I began to make a little bit more money, almost $11 for it. That was back in 1999. I guess. And that provide the insurance, the medical benefits, and everything. So my daughter was born. I paid the hospital only $10. Back in the days, I'm talking about if you're in the United States, it's a HMO and always paid. All I have to pay is $10 for the first visit to a doctor. Anyway, down the road, I continued to improve myself. I began to work as independent contractor. There was a point that after the birth of the baby, I had 3 jobs just to support the family. But that came in from within the universe. I was having the abilities to do that because my job was regular job was 12-hour shift, and one day I worked, so 3 days I worked 12 hours and one day I worked 4. The rest of the days, what are you gonna do, Jim? They're free, right? So I was able to manage things. I bought a car. I was able to do things, but everything was kind of like an orchestrate. Why? Because I was looking up for an answers. I was looking for and opportunities. I was looking for this part so I can be better. Okay, I can be better. Later on, I began to work as a delivery of Chicago Tribune. I was making I mean, back in the days, we're talking about 2,700 bucks a week. That was the money. I mean, that was money. It was worth it. Okay, I mean, you you basically have had it pretty much made. I mean, come on, the average mortgage back then was 900 bucks. You make your mortgage for like one weekend, 2 3 days of work. Okay, I mean, it was good. We were able to buy a house later on and things like this. But here is the more you make, the more you spend about money. And don't value what you make and don't value of what you spend on over the time is going to turn and ruin your life. Why? Because the money is the base thing, the finances is the base thing, is your base of life. You do have a house, roof over your head, food on the table, a full fridge, and so on, to care for kids, and so on and so on. But if you don't properly mismanage the money, you mismanage the energy that it's behind the money. Okay, you give your energy to create this money, to make this money. All right, but also when you get this energy from the universe, where you need to be, where you need to go, and if you don't appreciate, you don't value this money, guess what's going to happen? You don't value this divine energy that comes in. Okay, and that later on, 17 years after I was married, led to this kind of like a disagreement with my ex because we always never had money. That was the things. And unfortunately, to a lot of you, you will understand that this part of only the one person works and put so much into, and you see how things are. So, with that being said, you want to be having a happy life because you think the happiness comes with money. No, it doesn't. Happiness comes with what you have, what you value have behind it, and what makes you happy. You need to have money enough to support yourself, but not to struggle. Because when you struggle, you don't think about spirituality. You don't thinking about soul. And if you don't thinking about the soul, guess is what happened. Your material world crumbles, and then you go out and you pray to the universe to help you, to get you. The universe is willing to help you, but guess what? You end up in the same problems over and over with finances because you don't value the finances, the understanding about finances. Okay. And if you understand the finances part, you will understand it's an exchange of energy. It's an exchange of energy. And the proper understanding in finances is actually a proper understanding of how to exchange the energies. When it comes to the twin flames, let me tell you this, if you one or the other, it doesn't know how to operate with money, then guess what? Things is going to lead to a disaster at some point. So, um, anytime you guys have any financial questions, you guys write them up. I'll take a look for it. Because in life, what you want to do is, first of all, create a stable plan about it. Because stable plan, okay, will help you to develop this not worry part. If you have this not worry part, then you have more time of doing your inner work, more time of doing your spirituality, more time to do and take for spending time with others instead of worry. Okay, if you spending your time so much on worry, then you don't understand the value of exchange between the finances and the money from within. Everything is energy. You have to look at the money as a part of energy and the finances. Okay, so for example, if you don't make enough money, that's mean the value of yourself for the time exchange about the money is not the same rate of return that you need for your life. Okay, it's the same thing about the money spent, where they go. Okay, so for example, if you're spending every day $5 for a Starbucks coffee, which is usually 10, but with everything there and taxes, if you're in the state of Illinois, pretty much you buy bagel and coffee and there you go, you probably $10 in there. So you put 22 working days, that's a $220. All right. Imagine what the $220 will do in your budget. What about if you get a bagels, from just a regular bakery shop, and you make your coffee at home? It's gonna cost you maybe $2, $3. Okay, that's $66. So the difference is now you're putting this money into the budget from within. Okay, or for example, another example that could have been if uh, you have a car, and that car, let's say it's a big truck, and it's just for the show off. Well, basically the gasoline for this truck, it's way too much, and you're making a calculation. It's like, we don't have money. Well, you pay so high for your insurance on your truck, you pay so much for gas. Do you really need that truck? You go trade it in for a nice, decent, small engine car, because using the car to go to work, you just go to work and come back. So now here is, you put more money into the budget. Okay. Another things that we'll do is that do you have a saving account? If you don't have a saving account, that's you get into your credit cards. If you get to the credit cards, so here is the credit cards, you make payments, right? But you also pay a lot of interest. Uh, okay, one thing I have always disagreed with is you have to earn and slave away for money mentality. Like, I'm not here for this old financial system. I'm here to witness the birth of new one. Yes, Josh. Okay. Nowadays, though, people don't want to have this mentality anymore. You get to work and make money. Yes, you do have to have a job. You do have to work. Okay, but here is, nowadays there is a lot more opportunities for you to be independent. And what I mean independent is that there is something, it's called financial independence. If you can calculate how much you need for retirement, this by the age of life expectancy, you will create this financial independence number of money that you need to have. But that usually doesn't happen. Okay. Nowadays, the new age of independency is having your own house, having like a 1 or 2 acre land. You actually grow your own food. You have solar panels on the top of your house. You produce your electricity. You have a well where you pull your pull your water from underground. And now when you go to work, all the money you're actually creating a wealth for you. You might do a little work or might do something out there. And that's how the new way is going to be. Because people understand that right now, the time you're spending at work for the value of money is unappreciated. It is not. And in some companies, some things not. But if you have a job, if you're a professional, for example, that's what I did. I was a professional. I'm still industrial technician, for it. If I come back to the States, I will, make a very decent money of what I know. You see, here it is. If you don't make a good enough money, maybe you need to improve your professionalism. The way I prove my professionalism is I went to college. I study industrial systems technology, which has got me to the position that I was. I took a class that was acquired for maintenance supervisors, that was a root cause machine failure analysis. Okay, from that root cause failure machine analysis, now I have a root cause failure twin flame relationship. So you can find the correlations. Little things for it. So your abilities of seeking from within and how to use your soul to get to a better things with your material life is about your soul. When you're connecting to your soul, I want to talk to you straight. Okay, I'm not going to watch the messages now. You need to understand inside of you as a soul, there is a library. There is a library of information. And that library of information, for some reason, some of you have only access during emergency. But it's not only during the emergency. It is about you to access this library every time you need to. That's your own library. Okay? But most of the people, when they have a comfort zone, and that comfort zone doesn't help them. That's why when I had a comfort zone of making a lot of money, I wasn't evolving that much. Okay, I was having the money to give, actually. I was sending money here and there. Okay, but the thing it is that in your soul, there is all the programs in there. So, for example, if you need to shift profession, you go to that library from within you and kind of like you begin to get into it. If you need to change a field, for example, maybe your job was technician, all of a sudden you want to change into something else. All right, let's say like you want to create some kind of art or something. You go to that library and you have it within you. Okay, and here is these positions of you have access to create wealth for you. The only question it is you don't believe yourself. You have a fears. See, people have a fear of growth, but they also have a fear of success. It all depends how you learn things in the beginning of your life. If somebody inspire you and you learn what success is, then you take this with you. You have no issues. But if it's someone, it tells you certain things and you didn't get this inspiration, or even they give you this inspiration, but you don't understand that the value, then guess what? The inspiration doesn't work for you. Okay? The inspiration doesn't, lack of self-worth, Josh. Man, guys, I gotta catch up to this chat. You guys typing too much. Great energy that we have on the chat. I just saw the energy on the chat and I appreciate it. You guys are fabulous today. I guess this topic is a lot, but deep inside of your soul is the energy of that you can basically be professional pretty much anything that comes up. if you're switching to finances, you will understand finances. Okay. If you don't understand finances, go and study finances. Go online, take a courses, take a class or something. You will understand. That will help you to value the money. Okay. I mean, I was in the financial service industry for 10 years part time. Okay. I was doing mortgages and life insurance, and I understood investments. Okay. But what I was doing is I was a debt consolidator. I took the debt that the people have, I make a new financial plan, and at the end I say, okay, dear family, we do all this, and here's your chunk of money that left over. And everybody goes that happy. But guess what? Without the proper learning about the money, guess what? The family begin to spend all that chunk of money that was left over, and they end up in the same situation. So, uh, the sacred knowledge inside of you of how you to survive in this world, you have everything within you. If something happened within you, you can go out in the woods and you can create some kind of shelter for yourself, and you can begin to understand where you have to go fish for food. That's from past lives. You have this. Okay. Or if you go to some other place that you need to work on it and it's more advanced than you, you will go ahead and learn that new advanced skills, because everything that you have in you, it exists in the universe. A question is are you accessing to it? Do you have access to it? If you don't have access to it, could be for two reasons. Okay. Number one, you're not really connecting with your soul. And number two, you might be using this for personal gains. Universe is not going to give you financial information or things like this for personal gains. It's only give you the information for you to survive. Okay. That's what this is. That's why a lot of the people, when they get knowledge, they want to use the knowledge for personal gains. And that's why everything gets screwed up. All right. Okay, man, I got a lot of chat here. So, how many of you want to understand the difference between our having a house and a mortgage and living in an apartment? We'll explain it to you what that is. The difference between the mortgage, having a mortgage on the house, and living in an apartment is huge. First of all, you don't pay property taxes. Okay, you don't. I mean, within the rent, you pay taxes. Property taxes, but they're less. So, for example, my mortgage for the house was $1,800 a month, pretty much, and that was like $700 a month property taxes. So that's 2,500 right off the bat. But I moved into the apartment. Okay. There was a little kind of like something coming in from YouTube. They kind of like broke up the connection. If you listen to it, I learned about money throughout my whole life. But if you learn about money and you learn through the old program, like you go to work, you make money, and you pay for your own bills. So guess what? You not learn a lot. You have to learn that make money, value the money. Don't live below, above your means. Okay. Don't overspend. Okay. Don't try to be show off when you can't. All right. And make sure that the money that you make, you are not embarrassed of your lifestyle that you have. Because some people maybe they don't have a decent car, maybe they don't have a decent lifestyle, like they don't have things. But guess what? They're happy at home. You see, that is a value that we not do it. Happiness in home, it's more better than the happiness you got. But there's got to be a balance within everything, because you don't have a balance, you don't have a partnership on this, specifically a partnership within money, then the things are not going well. There's always going to be an issues. Okay. Uh, Retrogrades, yeah, the retrogrades. Guys, let me know what kind of financial tools you want me to learn. If you have any personal problem about finances, write them down, uh, and I will go ahead and help you here at for you. All right, let me look at the chart, and we are gonna go from it. My focus now is lower my wants so I can work less. Great job, faster roll. Great. Point that out. The truth hurts them. Yes. I'm not financially independent too long to become that old or learning gratitude and awareness what I spent money on. Light worker, yeah. You need to understand there is a two ways you can have a financial independence. First of all, take a look your lifestyle, and based on the lifestyle, calculate it with projections of inflation rate. What could be your future needs of a month, and a basis off of how much you will need a month. Uh, I mean, if you are, let's say, like, for example, I'll take myself, 48, life expectancy, it is about, for a male now, it's about 85, 90. Okay. So I'm going to need income for another 40 years. Okay. So I have a shortfall of that income, then I have to do something, either support myself, producing something myself, or create a wealth where I can have money comes in. Because the money that's going to come in, that won't be good enough for the lifestyle I have. That's why most of the people who don't understand this, they're suffering at during time of retirement. Okay, what else? I blame the school system. Maria, yeah, the school system doesn't teach you about money because they don't want you to know about money. Most of what I have learned financially come through a course I did learn school at business college, where the lots was taught to me. It's just credit trap. Loans are put into people's heads before even setting into the workplace. Loans. All right. Here's the one thing about loans. The loans are based off something. It's called 50-25, which states for half of the term of the length of the loan, you are only going to pay 1/4 of what you borrow. So for the half of the term, you still owe 3/4 for it. The best way to do this, okay, it's always make a loan where the prepay, it's going to go towards the principal. All right. Because a lot of the companies out there, they will collect the principal and they will apply it in the end of the year. All right. But you need to understand this rule of 25. If you need to borrow money, you need to know what you get yourself into. So, for example, if that's a mortgage of 30 years, you need to understand that if that is a $100,000, for example, okay, you only pay 25,000. All right, you still owe 75,000 plus interest. And that's I'm talking about at year 15 of your mortgage. Okay, that's why sometimes the financial industry wants you to refinance and stay there. So they want to keep you here. You always to pay, 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 pay. All right. Unconscious knowing they're slaving and putting them in a stress state. Yeah, the more you are at the stress rate, the more you're gonna be screwed up in the misery. The misery of life doesn't help you in your soul evolution. Okay. If you live in the misery, you need to look at why you're there in the misery in the first place. What do you did not do? What do you need to improve? And that's work with the soul. And if you look at it within your soul, the soul knows what you need to do. Become having a stable job, stabilize yourself. And once you stabilize yourself, okay, continue stabilizing yourself and have another side extra income. So once you buy your own and it's paid off, your own house, apartment, whatever it is, you don't have any more money. So now you have a less responsibilities. Now you can do something else that you will need. But everything is in your head, in your brain. Okay. Don't use your brain. It's like I will do this and all this, tactics. No. Look in your soul, what you need to do, to improve. Okay, I see it's energy. We don't separate from it. Yes, for example, I see new Porsche. I don't feel separate from it. Porsche. Josh, having an expensive car is a great thing. Let me tell you this. I was able to afford an expensive car, but I didn't buy the car brand new. I didn't buy the car brand new. I bought the car used, slightly used, but used. And guess what? Saved me $60,000 difference. 60,000. I bought the Maserati Ghibli. I was slightly used. It was only 26,000 miles on it on the dash. I drove it for about 3 years. Okay, that's what. If you need something, you want to own something. The soul knows how you to get it right. Okay, but don't look at what society asks you to get it right. Because when you buy this Maserati brand new and it's 120,000 with taxes and everything that comes with it, guess what? You're gonna end up paying a lot of money. Okay, because the loan on 120,000, okay, you know how much that is? That is about $1,800 a month. $1,800 a month for 5 years. Okay, but if you bought the same car and 20,000 miles, okay, slightly used, guess what? Your loan and it's about 30 something, and now you end up paying everything about $500. 560, 600 something, depends of financing. That's what that is. So you want to have the Porsche, go buy the Porsche, but go buy it not above your means. Okay? Not above your means, because the soul knows inside of you how to reach it. Because the Maserati was following me like crazy until I didn't get one. When I get one, now I knew what it was. Okay? That is a programmed into a people. DeFi program, it will work on my own merit and value. Yes. Okay. Yep. Second-hand is never an issue with particular Porsche. Most owners are religious about their cars, especially 911. Josh, once you get the Porsche 911, okay, you drove it for 2 years. And guess what? In 3 years, you will understand that sooner or later, that thing's going to turn and crumble to dust. And it's going to be sent out to recycle. If you, let's say, for example, prefer to have a Volkswagen Golf like me that it's used, and you prefer to go out and travel around the world, and instead of spending the money on the Porsche, what is that going to do to you? Think about it. Maria, thank you, dear. And I gotta go. I'll catch up later. Okay, Maria. So, your soul knows how you to be proceeding with money. In a case of an emergency, your soul knows how to get you out of situations. But sometimes some situations are unpredictable. You can't predict it. I can't predict it. There was things within me that I was limited for money because of my twin flame journey. I was stuck in one company, believed that I have to be there to wait for that someone. No. End up being told that if I do one more thing, then I'm gonna be get, let go. So 4 hours later, I got a phone call and they told me, "Hey, you're looking for a new job. We're offering you $4 more an hour." Sure I am. I accept the offer, but that's the universe. Every time you work, you work for the universe. There is this little magic of, Mercury Retrograde. You know, you guys know how that goes. Who? Man. Yeah, I guess all of the people who are public speakers now and do videos on YouTube, we all have the same throat chakra problems. It's Mercury retrograde. Okay, it's kind of like a rough, but it's this magic I want to tell you about. Since we're talking about spirituality and money, when you do things about for the universe during this rough processes, the universe begin to kind of like give you back somehow, some way, in some situations, and you're able to precupicate with this situations that you should not have been there in the first place. But guess what? The reason was not you, it was something else. It was something outside of your control. Okay. For example, during this Mercury retrograde, I end up in a financial situation because of relative. I had nothing to do with this. Okay. But I end up have to go ahead and do things for it. That I'm happy? No, I'm not. Okay. But the soul inside of it knows how to deal with this, knows how to process. If you want to maintain your internal peace inside of you, you will hear the voice of the soul that tells you, "Hey, you worry too much. Let me help you. How about this way? How about you see a vision of this person there? You go ahead and talk to that, and they're going to help you. I will make it happen." All of a sudden, you go out and you see one person, and they look at you, you look at them, and you talk to it, and all of a sudden, there's like, you know what? Hey, I need somebody to look for a job. And you're like, huh? That's how it works. That's how it works within the universe. Okay. And the only reason you're stuck where you're stuck at it is the finances. Um, okay. You're stuck as the finances. It is because of within you. Look from within why you're stuck in there. You maybe don't have self-esteem to go ahead and reach higher level as a career or higher level as a professional. Maybe even learn to value money, so you're losing them. It doesn't matter how much you were received. Kind of like you have them now and then they're gone. And guess what? You have to do something over and over, which is that's what this is. But when you use your power of the soul tells you how you to be stable, how you can evolve out of this, how you can be having this. I had to learn this after my divorce. I had to do I mean, making the money. I mean, from paycheck to paycheck, I had $20 to do it. Okay, $20. But I manage to have two jobs so I can support my girls. I supported my ex, okay, and my own. I didn't have to do this, but it was in my own. And guess what? I end up being screwed up afterwards. Okay, you're learning lessons. It is what it is. Do good, and things are the way they are. But what you did in young age, you learned to make money, and that helped me a lot. Back in the days when I get up to take care of myself, very early in age, I mean very early. But where did that come from? It came from my childhood. It came from my childhood because my grandfather was taking me out. We had like a little place outskirts of the town, and we had this cherry garden, and we had some grapes, and so on. And I went over there to do a farmer's job there, and I developed the skills of farmer job. I developed the skills to understand what it takes to do this. I was never complained when I had to go and do that job. I was happy. I was happy to go over there and dig myself into the earth and go ahead and do what I was needed to be. Okay, I take care of all those things out that were no good and makes everything nice and smooth because everything was done by hand. There was no machines back in there in the late 70s, early 80s. Okay, but that's what this is. How you develop your skills, your developing skills. If you didn't develop it, you have to go back and develop them. That's what it's within you. Uh, Deal, I want to know. CJ, what did you wanted to know? Uh, CJ, um, you wanted to know about loans or mortgages or whatever you wanted to know. I hope that is. Uh, my inner child strongly resonates with cars, Josh. Yeah, well, the inner child strongly resonates with a lot of things. My compassion for Maserati began when I was in the army, and somebody repaired a Maserati B Turbo, and I fell in love with that car. And later on, I drove it. Okay, it's good to reach your dreams. See, you can use your dreams from within that they can push you forward. The power of the dreams from within you, especially the power within the inner child, within your spiritual inner child, they can push you to move forward. Do you know why? You want to be happy. See, the happiness, if you use the happiness as a tool, can help you to develop these finances, these financial habits. They can help you to motivation, you to self motivate yourself. Okay. Lack of self motivation, you're always going to be a codependent. Lack of that, okay, you going to be. It is the same thing with self-love. If you don't learn how to be self-love within you, you will don't know how to love others. Okay, if you are not a self-motivated, you're expecting somebody to motivate you. That's mean you expect somebody to do the job for you, somebody to bring you money. That's mean you are a dependent. So in your relationships, you are codependent. And that's where the finances problems comes in. A lack of partnerships or a lot of the troubles within the partnership comes in with this codependency. And where the first codependency, the problem is money. You're screwing up with money, money screws you up. That's how the life goes. But if you use the law of attraction, and if you tell yourself, I don't have enough money, but they're good for me. I will work on it to get more money. Guess what? You're going to begin to work on go making more money. But if you tell yourself, I'm worthless, I don't know what I'm doing with money, I don't understand anything about money, and I never have money, and guess what? More what you're telling yourself is that's what you attract. And if you are in a financial problems right now, I will look at you. Go ahead and look at yourself, what you're telling yourself, because what you're telling yourself is the truth. If you're gonna be telling yourself, okay, I'm gonna be in a better position, I'm gonna be in a better situations that I am right now, I'm gonna be in a better things right now. Guess what? You telling your soul, hey, find me an answer. And the soul comes back to you and finds you the answer. And you're like, okay, well, I attract what I need to attract. But you actually access the library from within that tells you everything that you need to do. All right. Okay. So, what else will be? Find the difference between your needs and your means. Okay, your needs, you can calculate them and you'll be precise to it. Means, it's another thing, because within the means you maybe want to have certain lifestyle, but if your means are for your soul, then what would you do? So for example, I don't really want to go and spend money to go to a coffee shop, but by all means, when I go to the coffee shop for 2 hours, I am there by myself. I am there to have time with my own self. Not that I cannot have my time here, but energy wise, there, that place is different because my soul feels good there. On the one side, I have a church and the coffee shop where I go. There used to be a bookstore. The bookstore, probably a very special place, and the energy is good. And I can easily find myself in internal peace. And when I'm here, I'm usually on a computer or I'm doing something, and that's how things are. Josh, philosophy is powerful. Yes, but the proper use of philosophy, okay? Because some people, they can use the philosophy to manipulate, somebody can inspire you. Everything that it exists, everything, absolutely everything, can raise you up or drags you down. Everything, because that's how it goes. It's the third law of Newton. It says in everything force there is exist a force of opposite direction. That's how the twin flames are. Until you understand that when this opposite combine their force, that's the power of creation. But that's a whole another topic. We're talking about finances here now. Okay, guys? Josh, ironically, I'm a descendant of Newton, and I feel that strongly. Ironically. All right. All right, guys. Well, let me know what you guys need me as a financial tools to explain it to you. Okay. I mean, if you're in a family and you struggle with your family finances, I can explain it to you how to build them. If you struggle with, for example, finding a job, first of all, you have to get it within your mentality that you're going to get a job. You don't get a job, you're not going to attract it. The thing it is when you put so much time and effort towards finding a job, that's what you're going to get. If you want to do a business, okay, you put your time and effort to some kind of business, you end up learning that business, and then you end up doing that business, because that's what your focus is. What you focus, that's what grows. But focus without actions, it's only a desire. Okay? You have to put this in place from within. All right? Focus without the actions, it's only a desire. If you don't do the actions of all this, if you don't put yourself in action of getting extra job, getting extra income, getting the things out, get out of the hole of these situations that you are, guess what? You ain't gonna get out of it. There's no actions in there. Okay, you're not supporting your business, then the business is not going to supporting you. That is the value as a business owner to understand. This is your baby. All right. The business, when you start a business, is like a baby. You have to go, you have to babysit, you have to look, you have to improve. Same thing like a baby. You're investing in there, the baby grows, become a kid. That's how business grows. But you can have all the focus towards your business, but no actions, it's only desires. Okay, and if you're investing money into desires, there is no money that you invest in a business. Budgeting is another thing school don't teach. Maria, budgeting. You can go ahead and find on the internet. If you want, get me on the Facebook. Budgeting. Okay. What a budgeting is you go ahead and create yourself a sheet that state like this. Okay, what I'm spending my money on. Let me help. Stocks. Oh, Shadow. I'll tell you a lot of stock things. Just give me 1 second, okay, Shadow? Let me first go with this. So you get this budget list, okay? And this budget list, you have things you spend money on. And down in the bottom, okay, you look exactly how much total you spent. So let's say if that's $1,000 a month. But here on the other side of the budget list can be without it. How important it is. And now, if you put no, and you put no on certain things, now when you put the bottom line, that probably is going to be a 700. So now you understand how the budget is, how you create budget so we can have an extra money. Okay. But in some cases, if your spending, which is even after the no, okay, for example, they're 700, but you're making a $500 and you have $200 short, that's mean that you have to find a solution to make this extra 200 just to meet your minimum, your bare minimum. And the bare minimum doesn't help you because the bare minimum, it's only focusing you in thinking about the money, not in your soul. You're not evolved out of this. And the only way you to do this is to rise above, look at that system from above, and go ahead and do the things. One movie I would suggest you, it's called Pursuit of Happiness. Go watch it. All right. You need to understand the best lessons is empty stomach, empty wallet, and an empty heart. Okay. Shadow, what is my stocks issues? Just so you know, I haven't learned the crypto crap. I'm not that much into the crypto. Josh, yes, the pursuit of happiness is great. Stocks, how do the stocks work? First of all, understanding of a stock market. So a lot of the companies, they need to raise extra cash so in order they can improve and get their business. So they have their stocks into the market. You have extra cash in your pocket and you want to be an investor. Okay. So you go and you investing in three stocks. Okay. But out of these three stocks, okay, let's say, for example, I won't make companies because I'm not making commercial. Okay. Company A, B, or C. So you investing on those three companies, and all of a sudden, this company went down, out of business for some reason. You lost your money. Company B, it's underperformer. There was a planning to get a plant going, but they just built the building, and all of a sudden, government said, "No, you can't do this," and now you screwed up. And now you went into a company C that it has a little performance of 10% rate of return, and you end up in loss. You're like, well, but I did that by myself. And now you learn your lesson, and you go to a mutual fund company. You go to a mutual fund company, and they say like this: you before invested $1,000 a month. Now you're going to invest the same $1,000 a month, but we are going to spread it to 100 companies. So in this 100 companies, you're going to put like a buck into it, but your overall rate of return, an average, it's 12%. Well, 12% rate of return, that is your money that you're investing, they're going to double every 6 years on the base of the rule of investment of 72. Okay? You don't know the rule of 72 for investments? That it is the percent of rate of return divided on 72, and you're going to receive for how many years your money will double on that investment. Maria, thank you for watching us. I'm sorry that it's too late for you, but I'm trying to kind of like catching up with all the people that I can. Some of them I can catch, some of them I don't, but the video is going to be out posted in the Facebook. So now, when you go into this mutual fund companies, now they help you out. Now, the other thing it is if you learn in the stocks that you can be bypassing the mutual fund company and you can get this $1,000 and invest it in 100 different companies, then the situations could be much better for you for it. Okay, Shadow? That's how it goes. But the rule of 72 is this, that your rate of return, okay, you divide it on 72, so that's what it is. 72, you divide it on 12, 12, that's 6 years, okay? But if you have, for example, 24% rate of return on your investments, okay, that's going to be 3 years. It all depends of projections and financial documents that shows up the stability of your investments and so on. All right. All right, guys. Any other questions you have for me? Another financial tool is to understand that the life insurance is the income replacement. Because if you are in a partnership with your twin flame, you got to have life insurance for it. Because if the one accident happens every day, the other is going to be taken care of. Life insurance, its actual name, it's income replacement. All right, I won't talk to you so much about life insurance because there is a life insurance out there with investments attached to it. Don't buy those. Only buy a pure life insurance with no other strings attached. Shadow 330, thank you, dear. Oh, you're welcome. You're welcome. I hope you get all I'm saying. There is one example of investments. Is this? Okay, I will give you this another example for it. If you invest, 3 investors, they both invested $10,000. Okay, so one went to the bank and they got 3%. So 3% on a 72, that is a 24 years. So in 24 years, they're going to become 20,000. Okay, but the value after 20 years during the inflation, they're going to be a devalue. So they don't not going to have the same buying power as the $10,000 when you initially invest. All right. So if you go in a special provision in the bank, all right, it's on a 6%. So the money is going to double now every 12 years. So for 24 years, they're going to become a $40,000. Now, this $40,000 with the inflation, they will kind of like pretty much cover some of the things, but it's not going to be enough for it. Now, if this is in 12%, okay, now you're going to have every 6 years doubling. So now there's going to be a for 12 years, that's going to be 40,000. And then 6 years, it's going to be 80. And 24, it's going to be 160,000. So if it's a 12% rate of return, this 10,000 is going to turn to 160,000. But that is about you understanding financial principles and tools and proper way of using it. All right, guys. Let's see what's going on in the thing. Shadow, I hope that helps you. Ultimately, it's just our belief system or resonate that defines our experience with money and this reality. Let me tell you about the reality. The reality that we lived in the past 2,000 years, which is the age of Pisces. Okay, it's changing. We are going to the age of Aquarius. And the age of Aquarius is one thing. I fix myself and I show the others how I fix myself. And it's up to them to fix themselves. compared to the Pisces. We have to do this as society, or otherwise it's not right. And there is a lot of confusions. Here you have the rebel that comes out of the society, and it says, I'm going to do this on my own. I'm going to save my own skin for the better of the society, because the society doesn't work. If the society was working, we would have been better today. If everything was okay, why doesn't work? Why we are not good? Why the world is not good? That's where we have this rebellion. We are going to have this rebellion on Age of Aquarius, but we're also going to have this Renaissance moment. This Renaissance moment that we have to create our better humanity. That's what this is. Breaking all the old kingdom ownership things. Okay? Break that up. People is going to learn that they probably best way is to own their land and start from the beginning, because back then they were not dependent. Now people are depending, and the economy and the job and the performance, the money they make at the company, they're depending of how much money salary they're going to give it to them. Okay, so yeah. Its financial system really seems to be stepped into exploitation. Everything creates its for exploitation. Don't forget about it. We're here for energy. Energy exchange, the proper way of energy exchanges, okay, brings this. You don't have proper energy exchanges, guess what? Everything goes to crap for it. Everything. A lot of people we are in the biggest exchange of wealth ever. Josh, yes, we are. We are in the biggest exchange. The only thing it is at the end of the day, when you're dying in your bed and you got all this full of money and you got all this success, you cannot even get a 1 penny with you after you die. But you're going to go back in there and you can tell yourself, yeah, I did good. I helped people. I did the right things. Right things happened to me. I was able to give, and things. I'm happy with it. What about the other thing? I manipulate. I took from people. I didn't pay salaries. I was investing just to resell and make manipulations. And I screw up so many people, and you got that guilt within you. What is that going to be for you? What is that going to be for you on that day? Okay? Your soul knows what you need to do from within your soul. But the question is again, your actions, what they are. Okay? A template was born. All right, guys. Well, if there is no more questions, then we are going to close out, and I got some other things that I needed to do. There's going to be tomorrow, I'm going to be talking to you about the power of no. The power of saying no. Okay, there was a little book that I learned, The Power of No, back in the days when I had a swimming pool in the house. And I learned that book, and there it says there, You may be a very good person of saying yes, but are you a very good person of saying no? You will understand that if you don't have a balance with yes and no from within, you are not evolved yet. Because every time when somebody tells you no, it triggers your ego. And we are going to deal with this tomorrow. Guys, thank you so much for the super chat. I'll be on the Facebook. Please, please, please connect to me for it, and I will be available. All right, guys. Thank you so much. Dio, give me a lucky number so I can manipulate the lottery. Come on. I will never gonna do that to you. Doesn't matter how much I love you, Shadow. All right. You know your lucky number. You always know your lucky numbers. The question it is do you believe in that lucky numbers of the lottery? How about that? I know you're laughing now, Shadow. I can feel your energy. I can feel that energy within you. Been amazing. Thanks, Dio. Speak tomorrow. Okay, Alaya. We'll talk about tomorrow. We'll appreciate it. Everything will be as we did it. Okay, and appreciate for the super chat. All right, guys. Much love to you.